Today, we review a truck that really needs no introduction. The Ford F-150, Ford's best-selling vehicle and one of the best-selling vehicles in the country. And it just got a major overhaul. But looking at it from the outside, you can be forgiven if you don't really spot the difference. The inside is where the beef of the new update lives. But first, huge shout out to Coons Ford of Baltimore for getting us this truck today. If you have a keen eye, you might notice that this isn't the Ford F-150. This is a Shelby GT500, a very cool car that they have on our lot. But enough of that, let's get into it. Let's talk about the front of the Ford F-150. One of the big areas where you can notice the redesign on the exterior of the vehicle is the headlights. There's a lot less chrome in the headlights. I think the other area is the grille. It can be a bit hard to spot, but if you really know your F-150s, you can definitely tell the difference. You do have this big Ford badge on the front, and just underneath the badge is where they hide their front camera. The last noticeable feature on this is these black tow hooks down here. Moving on to the side of the F-150, you do have these 20-inch dark alloy 6-spoke wheels, which are going to cost you $1,400. Another package on this vehicle is the FX4 package, which gets you a front skid plate, all-terrain tires, and off-roading suspension. Moving back, you do have the power fold-in mirrors, which do have your blind spot monitoring on them. This vehicle does have keyless entry. If you have the key fob on you, you can just pull it open. One thing on the higher trims that you might find very useful would be the power fold-in running board. What that does on higher trims is it actually extends back here so you can have easier access into the bed. Moving around to the back of the F-150, you have this light here which can light up any sort of stuff you're doing when you have the tailgate up. It's a very cool feature. On the topic of lights, you have the LED tail lights. And the last notable thing on the back would be the badge, and of course you have your big imprinted Ford F-150 logo, as well as your little EcoBoost logo. But the most interesting part about the back of the Ford F-150 is definitely the tailgate. Moving on to the tailgate of the F-150, for just under $700, you can get the feature which does make this auto. So all you have to do is double tap the tailgate option on the key fob and it will lower automatically. Now this isn't the fancy tailgate that you'll find on the GM trucks with all of the fancy modular options, but it still does have a step, and it caught my glove. That could be rather annoying. But this does lower, and you have a handle that comes up to make ease of access into the tailgate. In order to put this away, you do follow the buttons, the number 1 button here and the number 2 button here to put the handle back. Then you lift this up, push in. And one thing to note is if you don't push this all the way in, it will literally not let you close the tailgate. No matter how hard you push, the tailgate will fight back. And it can be hard to notice if it's not all the way in, so just double check that. Moving on to the functionality of this tailgate, you have this nice measuring tape here to allow you to measure any sort of wood you might be cutting, as well as these clamps to allow you to hold the wood. You also have ridges up here so where you can put maybe loose screws and bolts or pencils. Overall, this is a very functional tailgate, and it does have the cool auto closing feature. So using your knee, you can start to lift and the tailgate will catch itself and automatically close. Moving into the bed of the F-150, this is the 5.5-foot bed, which gives you an adequate amount of storage space for whatever you could be doing. Down here, you do have this nice dual outlet, which, as we mentioned earlier, this bed is really designed with cutting wood in mind. You can attach a saw to this in order to cut wood, as well as having an additional outlet for anything else that might need to be charged. You do have your tie-down hooks around here, which do slightly resemble a bottle opener and can probably be used in a similar function. Other than that, you have your standard bed lighting, as well as the camera up here in the brake light. Under the hood of the Ford F-150, you're going to find a 3.5 liter EcoBoost twin turbo engine, producing 400 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. This thing has a payload capacity of around 2,000 pounds with a very impressive towing capacity of 14,000 pounds. This thing has an MPG of 22 city and 19 highway. It has an all-wheel drive system and a 10-speed transmission. Additionally, you can get a hybrid engine for the F-150, which has about 430 horsepower and about 570 pound-feet of torque. It has a payload capacity of just over 2,100 pounds, but its towing capacity is only around 12,700 pounds. Now, let's talk about the available trims. First up, the XL. While they don't have one on lot, this is the XLT, which we'll get to in a second. One of these will cost you about $36,650. For that, you get the auto start and stop system and the new Sync 4 technology. For $40,300, you can get the XLT, which has the Bliss cross traffic alert, the Ford Copilot 360 2.0, and the rear sensing system. For $48,000, you can get the Lariat, which comes with leather seats, the 12-inch screen with the Sync 4 system, and keyless entry with push to start. Another vehicle they don't have on the lot is the Kin Ranch. For about $56,300, you can get a special two-tone paint, the B&O audio system, and the special Kin Ranch badging. Another vehicle they don't have on the lot is the Platinum, and not because it's a bad truck or anything, but because it is selling so fast. And the things that people are really seeming to want about it are the genuine wood interiors, a built-in nav system, and the upgraded B&O audio. Finally, for $70,800, you get the Limited, which gives you the power tailgate and the Ford Copilot 360 2.0 prep package, which means in the future, whenever they're ready for it, it'll allow you to drive hands-free. Talking about the safety features available on this truck, as mentioned earlier on the side, you do have the blind spot monitoring, which will also work for your trailer, which is huge in a truck like this, which has a very utilitarian purpose for towing. Of course, the big thing with the new trucks was the Ford Copilot 360 2.0. It's going to carry over a lot of the same features from Ford 360 Copilot, the original, like your radar cruise control and your lane keep assist. But it's going to give you some new things like the setup for the future updates, which will allow you to drive hands-free. Another thing is it gives you a very much upgraded parking assist.
All right, let's get into the F-150. You can see your key right here, traditional Ford key. Walk up, put your hand on the door and it will unlock for you. You can see you have this nice wide opening, and it's really helpful having those running boards. Door shuts with a good thud. Looking around here, you can see the screen's nice and big, makes it really easy to see everything. Let's start the truck up. I really like how in some of their other vehicles they put the button like more here. Right here is traditionally where the key is, but being able to just push right here feels more natural, but that's a very minor thing. Looking around, just so much room in this cabin. It could make it hard to reach the screen. I'm sitting back a little bit back right now, but if you're a short person, you know, reaching there might be difficult. But steering wheel feels absolutely excellent. You have that nice big side window, which is really, really nice. You can see down low because Ford cuts that lower part out of the window. Visibility is fantastic in this vehicle for being so large. You have those nice big mirrors. Overall, definitely a very good experience.
And now you join me here on the interior of the F-150, and this is now class leading. Ford used to be at the bottom of the pickup truck interior segment, but now it really has shot its way up to the top. Looking through here, really nice leather materials everywhere, lots of nice metal accents going all around the vehicle, nice stitching. It really does make for a very nice interior space that really only Ram is kind of with, but even that, I think Ford might just take the cake, especially if you like this blocky design language. It is leaps and bounds ahead of where Ford used to be, especially with these large screens that we're going to go through now. I think that they have really upped their game. Let's look at it in a bit more detail. Now, I want to talk about the seats. They're very comfy, they're heated, they're cooled, they're definitely nice big truck seats. They really do hold you, and they're nice and comfy for long trips. You have these really nice wide headrests which have these speakers in them. They have B&O, 2 speakers in them as part of the B&O sound system, which is really cool. They also do adjust forward, of course, which is a really nice feature. Now, let's talk about seat adjustment. First of all, you can adjust your pedals. They're power adjustable, which is really a nice feature. And then also the seat itself, I'm sure you all have seen this if you looked into this truck, can fold all the way back. Now on higher trims that works a bit better as a bed, like it'll, I believe on the King Ranch and up, like the backrest will fold out and allow you to adjust your shoulder blades a bit more individually. But you can see this really does lay almost all the way down, so you could sleep here, which is awesome. Now, saying back up, you can also get massage seats in some of the higher trims, which is really cool. So the seat technology in pickup trucks has come a very far way from when they were originally just a bench. Now let's take a look at the screen here. Really, this is class leading. This is probably one of the best displays you can get in this gauge cluster, only second maybe to Audi system or really high-end luxury brands. It is controlled from your steering wheel, which is a very nice thick steering wheel. I always knock on GM trucks for having the thinnest, worst steering wheels, but Ford really has a nice big one right here, which is really nice. So you can control that center area from these buttons right here. So let's take a look at what you have right here. Let's start with navigation. One of my favorite parts of this truck is the ability to find points of interest. So if you need to find a gas station, you can find one, click in there, and it will now take that gas station and it will place it here on your screen, which is really nice. Once again, we can go in and you can see it's giving you sort of directions in there. It has the flag letting you know we are just about there. That station is right next door. We can cancel our route, which is really nice. Of course, you have phone and audio settings. You have different settings for the truck right here. You can configure your gauges. There's nothing here that is super interesting, but what is really interesting is that as you go down, you have this My View, which can be configured to be anything you want. So you can add a screen here, which is really nice, and customize it, which is really cool. I always love when you can customize these big central screens. Trip and fuel, of course, there's nothing really strange here. It is cool to get the fuel economy, and you can see what you're averaging. Of course, you have your trip meters there. You have your eco behavior, so the car will rate you. I've seen this in electric cars. This is the first internal combustion engine car I've seen that's had something like that, at least in a truck. It has auto start stop and your driver assistance features right there. And I just want to bring out how smooth these animations are. They really are really nice. This is my favorite menu right here, the truck info. So you can see we have, for example, a tire pressure right there. We can go down, you have your off-road, you have all your angles, and you can see it makes your speed smaller and really emphasizes that positioning system right in the middle. You have your power distribution, letting you know where power is going, which wheels are getting power, engine information, any seatbelt information, and of course, once again, your driver assist features. And then, of course, you have your towing. You can set up your trailer lights and whatnot through here. So really, this system is just, it's super clear. It's so snappy, and the animations are amazing. In fact, I want to show you, you have a bunch of drive modes in this truck, and it's controlled with that dial right there. And look at the animations in here. As you go from mode to mode, just the thought that has gone into these different little menus. Ford has clearly put a lot of thought into making sure that this screen has a high refresh rate, really nice dark levels, really nice contrast, and it has paid dividends. It makes this truck just look that much better. One little quirk of this system is there is a sport mode that will show your F-150 on the track if you're planning on taking it to a track day. Overall, this is one of the best systems for a gauge cluster there is on the market today. And here you will see your Sync 4 infotainment screen. Now, some interesting facts about Sync 4. Ford says that it is actually twice as powerful as the Sync 3 system in terms of computing power. It also uses a lot of cloud technology, and Ford actually is using machine learning to try to figure out your daily routine and make the system adapt and work for your routine the best. Now, is that creepy? Is that cool? Or a little bit of both? Let us know. I'd be interested to hear what you all think. But getting back to the system, it works on anything from an 8-inch to 15-inch screen. In the F-150 is on a 12-inch screen right here. You can see I have the navigation pulled up, and it works pretty well. It's nice and snappy. You can see I can select something and try and navigate to it. So that is really, really nice to have. Of course, you have your phone and audio. You have different apps and settings. You would expect to see all this and a features tab. There's nothing really that interesting right here for now that we're going to touch on. But what I do want to show you is this little card to the side. You can see I can scroll through all these different features right here. So fuel economy, trips, navigation, the zone lighting is what Colin was showing you with the light in the back. The Pro Power on board shows you sort of where the power is going through the truck, the electricity, which could be used to power essentially the truck's onboard generator. And you can take these cards and you can swipe them onto the main screen. So you can see right here, now we have this is now in focus. So that is a really cool feature. I like this setup. One neat thing that this vehicle has is a virtual owner's manual. So you can see if you want to learn something about the truck, you can click it and the truck will give you a little video explaining what the feature is. So that is really cool. Not only that, but you can also do a visual search. So we'll show you pictures of areas around the truck and you can select and you can learn a little bit about that area, which is really neat. So I really like these virtual owner's manuals. They make things a lot easier. They don't degrade like a traditional owner's manual. Really, really neat feature there. Really fantastic infotainment system. One other really nice thing about this infotainment system is the camera system. Hit this button right here and you now have the 360 view and a front camera right there, which also of course can be changed to a rear view camera. I want to show you this because you can take this magnifying glass and you can zoom in on different corners of the truck. That is a really cool feature, and you can get back right there. And you can of course see your front, and you of course have your projection right there. So this is a really, really cool feature. And if you hit here, you can get all your different views pulled up. So you can have a big wide front view. You can have sort of a front 180-degree view right there for a super wide view. And of course you have your bed camera. And you can see it has the line to help you hook up to a fifth wheel. So that is a really, really neat camera system. Let's talk about your controls right here. First, you have some driver controls. You have your trailer brake control and all your four-wheel drive and drive mode controls right here, which we kind of touched on a bit earlier. You have all your heated, cooled seat controls here, along with your temperature, which is nicely displayed in the gauge, which is really nice. And of course, all your HVAC controls. Heated wheel is always really nice. And of course, heated and cooled seats. Let's move down from there. You have this really nice cubby right here, nice and big. You could easily fit a phone in there. You also have a USB-A and C port. Ford also includes this little modular clip, which if you put in there, allows you to really nicely put in a phone, maybe a wallet. So that is really nice. You also have cup holders here with grips, and you also have a pen holder, which it might be hard to get a pen out of there, but it is nice that it's there. Now, of course, the star of the show here is this shifter right here. This is what everyone's been talking about. Hit the button and down goes the shifter. It recedes into there. We have tested it. It does have a pressure sensor. So if you try to stop it, change your mind, it will reverse course. Now, so if you have something there, it won't break, it will detect and it will start going back. Now you can open your console, and now you have a table which can comfortably be used. You can eat off this, you could do some typing, some work. This is a really, really cool feature. So many people use these trucks for work. This is a game changer for those folks. Now, the only downside that I can really see to this system is that it is one of two things. First of all, Ford was smart enough and made it so that you can't put down the shifter when the vehicle is not in park. So your friends can't pull the funny prank of putting your shifter down while you're driving, which is a bummer for them, but good for you. The main downside is that this system results in the cover of your center cubby being very thick, sometimes unwieldy. It can be a little difficult to reach down there to the clip. Really minor thing, totally worth the trade-off to get the big desk. But it is just something to keep in mind. You have a USB A and C port in here, really deep cubby as we're used to seeing in these trucks, along with the change holder and this little holder right here. So really a fantastic center console design, and I'm very happy to see so much innovation happening with something as simple as a gear shifter. And now we are in the back of the F-150, and this is a fantastic place to be. You have that giant sunroof up there again, which you can see. The seats back here are nice and comfy, and you can easily fit 3 adults back here. You have different vents back here, which is really nice, along with heated seats on the outboard sides. And of course, you have power outlets for everyone. You have a traditional 12 volt, you have a USB A port, a USB C port, and a traditional 120 volt outlet. So everyone will be juiced up back here. You have your map pockets, and of course, we'll show you these seats do fold up to create a lot of storage space back here, and you have fold down cup holders in the middle. The back of a pickup truck is an excellent place to be as a passenger because there is just so much room. Even with those seats far back, you can really stretch out no matter your height. And as I mentioned, the seats can be folded up to make more room, just to store stuff inside the truck. You just pull a little loop, push up, and you can see now you really have just a gigantic amount of space. I mean, it borders on the absurd. It's really fantastic. We were just getting out of the car and we noticed this little American flag. Small little details like that are always really neat. So as we mentioned in the beginning, this F-150 looks a lot like the generation that came before it. And frankly, that looked a lot like the generation that came before that. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's still completely different underneath, and it is really, truly a luxury truck. This Lariat right here comes in at over $70,000, but we were discussing this, the three of us in the car, it's worth it. Usually we tend to think that we like maybe some of the cheaper cars, the more mid-range, low-range models, but this truck, you're paying a lot, but you surely are getting a lot. You're getting those amazing seats. You're getting a hotel on wheels for 2 people. You're getting that massive storage space in the back. You're getting the towing capacity of that 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine. And you're getting comfort amenities previously only seen in German luxury vehicles. It really is a fantastic value, even at $70,000. So should you consider an F-150? Yes. The F-150 was starting to lose ground to its Chevy and Ram counterparts, but Ford has come back swinging with this model. We are very excited to see where it goes. We would love to review a Power Boost and maybe some lower end F-150s in the coming year, guys. Let us know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. A huge thanks to Coon Sport of Baltimore, especially Tom, for letting us take a look at this 2021 F-150 Lariat. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in next week's video.